Hello everybody! Welcome back to Skyward Sword.
Yep.
We're going
Hello.
after... Hello. This looks like a pressure platey.
Yeah, but I don't see anything you can put on that, so...
Well,
You
I
probably
mean,
need the boots or something. The iron boots, maybe. Who knows?
or it's the switch that controlled the bridge that was pushed by that other lady.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That would make sense. It looks like it's a switch, but it also kind of looks like a... Either it looks like a pressure plate or it looks like a depressed switch. And since it's not pushing down...
It's pushing up? Just kidding.
I can only guess that is a pre-depressed switch. That poor switch that deals with depression.
Huh.
It's a depressed switch. It deals with depression.
Yep.
Yeah, my puns are horrible.
Yeah.
Actually, it probably is already pushed down because I think you have to push it down the second time.
Later.
Because this thing is also standing up when you come in here the second time.
Yep. I remember, actually. After thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be when you had to do those trial thingies.
Well, I mean that's the second time, so.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think that's the third time. I don't remember. It's been too long.
Yeah, but I do remember you have to go through this area with no... Well, there's two times. One is that trial, and the second time is when you lose all of your gear and have to give it back.
Yep. Well, that's the thing I was thinking of with the second time. I forgot about the coming back for the second dungeon that's in this area. So that did nothing. Where is that supposed to go? Oh, right down there.
To be honest, fire dungeons always sort of like creep me out because you have to deal with a lot of lava.
Don't like lava.
I don't like lava. Too scary. I mean, come on. It's freaky. And
Can reach. Or not. The important thing is I got the thing out of his hand.
Yep.
That's what I was trying to accomplish. I was actually watching somebody talking about reviewing video games, and the entire time he's been talking about it, he's been using Skyward Sword as a reference because of how much flack it gets. He's talking about, like, a lot of people review and they're like, you know, they didn't like this part and it's bad design because it was frustrating, and he's like, you can't call it bad design just because it was frustrating to you, you know?
Yeah.
He goes, because sure, it was frustrating to you, but if it's not what if it's not frustrating to me? Does that mean that if I say that it wasn't, if it wasn't frustrating to me, then does that mean that it's not bad design after all? And he was talking about the things that you have to factor if you want to call something bad design.
Yeah.
He made a lot of good points about it. Because like, you can't just say it was frustrating. You can give reasons why it was frustrating and why that makes it a bad design, but you can't say that it frustrated you and therefore it was bad, because games aren't built to accommodate just you.
If every game was made so it wouldn't be frustrating, oh my god. I mean, even Mega Man is frustrating to a lot of people, and guess what? Good reviews, it's considered a classic.
Right.
And honestly, people wouldn't be like that if the game wasn't tough and it wasn't fun. I mean,
I don't think it's very fun, but I mean, I also don't like really, really hard video games.
Yes, so I understand people don't like really hard video games like you. It's just that some gamers do like challenges and such.
Right. I don't know that I've ever said that Mega Man's a bad game. I just said I don't like Mega Man because...
It's
and then listed off
game.
the frustrations that I've had. It's like, I don't like this because of all these frustrations. I've never said... if I've ever said it's a bad game, then I probably wasn't really thinking at the time. But I've never tried to call it a bad game. Because if I have, I wasn't really thinking at that moment of the choice of words that I was using. But I don't think Mega Man is a bad game. I just think that's very, very frustrating.
Yep.
And there is a significant difference between this game is frustrating and this game is bad. So.
I even have a lot of times when I have frustrations with Pokemon. And guess what? Pokemon, not a bad game series at all. So. Yep.
But the reason that I bring that up, because I'm sure everybody was thinking, well, what was the reason I was saying all this? The particular reason that I mentioned this bit is because we were just talking about backtracking there. And a lot of people talk about they don't like backtracking in Skyward Sword. And the same guy that I just mentioned, he's been using Skyward Sword in this series as an example. And he goes, well, why are there so many people that were frustrated at Skyward Sword because of the backtracking? Because if you look at
most of the Zelda games, you do backtrack a lot.
Right.
Like, I can name a few. Well, I can say a lot of the Legend of Zelda games I played. Yes, backtracking. I played Phantom Hourglass. You had to backtrack to the same temple every single time. It's like, and what, people don't complain about that?
Yeah, well, people do complain about that. They complain about that quite often.
In Ocarina of Time, you had to keep on going back and forth through time. It's like, do people complain about that?
Hey, Ocarina of Time, one of the better games. How much backtracking is there in that you go to the Gerudo Desert, you do everything there as an adult, backtrack to the Gerudo Desert as a young kid, so that you can then backtrack back to the Gerudo Desert a third time, so that you can complete the temple. And if we want to talk about Master Quest, we then backtrack a fourth time, so that we can do one little thing as young Link, once we're in the Spirit Temple through Adult Link, just so that we can, just so that we can then do the go back again as Adult Link. I totally got lost in what I was saying because I had to answer Fi's question. I don't even
But
know
yeah.
what she was asking.
And let's see, with Jorah's Mask, you have to keep backtracking to the main town
Yeah.
just to make sure you can go back in time to like the first day. Such yeah, Legend of Zelda games, lots of backtracking. You're going to backtrack a lot, no matter what Legend of Zelda game.
Right. He was talking about the backtracking though, and he goes, so why is it then that, you know, people hate Skyward Sword's backtracking? And he goes, it's because of the fact that Skyward Sword did so many points where you did something and then like Fi pops up constantly, like completely breaking your immersion constantly. And that gets annoying and frustrating. And so then when you have to start doing the backtracking, you're not having a lot of fun to begin with. And so the backtracking just feels like, I have to backtrack. You know? And it just feels even more frustrating. And he's like, it's not the fact that you backtrack that's the problem. It's the constant breaking of your immersion in the game that is the problem. And I'll agree to that. Skyward Sword has a lot of problems. Why did that do that? Skyward Sword does have a lot of problems with constantly just breaking your immersion thanks to the wonderful Fi and her constantly jumping up and telling you stuff. That was wonderful.
But yeah, I never consider backtracking to be a problem in most video games.
Right.
I mean, the newest Alien game that I've seen so many Let's Plays of, guess what? You basically had to keep on backtracking over and over in that game.
Yeah.
And honestly, people don't complain too much about it.
Right.
So, yeah, it's kind of annoying when... Oh, the one thing that people don't like about this game is just backtracking. It's not a good reason to hate the game.
Right. It's like, you can, you know, talk bad about a game all you want, but you do have to really keep in mind that any comment you make about this game, that was loud.
Sorry.
You have to keep in mind that any comments you make about this game, it keeps rolling, it keeps throwing the thing instead of rolling it. Any comments you make about this game and how good or bad it is, forget, I'm going to come back there with bonfires. You have to kind of make about every game that has a feature similar to it. And so you can't say, Ocarina of Time is this amazing game, without stopping to talk about, you do a lot of backtracking in Ocarina of Time, and that's bad design. You know, if you're one of those who's like, Skyward Sword is bad because backtracking. You know, it does feel annoying that you backtrack in Skyward Sword. But again, it's entirely because of the fact that there's so many things that break your immersion from the game that you don't even think about. Well, that worked, I guess. You don't even think about the fact that it's so much the backtracking as much as it is you're frustrated and then something happens that you feel is a little frustrating and then immediately, even though that's a thing that's in everything, for some odd reason it's like it expounds on how frustrating that is to you. You know?
Yep.
So.
And yeah, as I said before, there's a lot of games with backtracking, so you can't really use that as a reason to hate the game.
Right. Yeah, he was pointing out, like, You know, think about Wind Waker when you have to do the Triforce quest. You know, I'll agree that I personally did not care much for the collecting of the Triforce quest in Wind Waker. But I don't call Wind Waker a bad game because you had to collect the Triforce, you know.
You generally have to collect the Triforce anyway in most Legend of Zelda games. I mean...
Right.
Yeah, even this game does it. But instead of Triforce, it's... Well, it is kind of Triforce, but you're upgrading your sword.
Well, I mean, you do get the Triforce in this game.
Triforce, yeah. But you know what I mean. It's mostly to upgrade your sword too. Yeah,
the majority of the backtracking is like the sword upgrades and stuff. But I mean, even in this game, you have an entire dungeon dedicated to collecting the Triforce. So, which, I mean, again, if people want to complain about, you know, Triforce collecting, Legend of Zelda 1, that was literally the plot of the entire game.
Yeah. And even I complain that Legend of Zelda, but not because of collecting Triforce pieces. I complain about it because you need a freaking walkthrough to even beat the game most of the time.
Right. There are many things I can complain about when talking about the first Legend of Zelda. There's many things I can complain about when talking about Zelda 2, but the things that I can talk about in regards to Zelda 1 and 2 don't necessarily make them bad games. You know,
no.
Out of all the Zelda games that are out there, I personally really like Zelda 2, despite the fact that most people would, you know, call it a bad game and such. It's like, there were bad features, and the butterfly just ran away. There were bad features, like the life system, and the items being, you know, permanent pickups, and stuff like that. You know, you can only collect a life once in your entire playthrough. And so it's like, they give you like 9 or 10 lives throughout the whole game, and you need almost every one of them just for the Great Palace, but you're going to find all of them before even going to the Great Palace, so then you're going to waste them. You know? It's like, there are a lot of bad things about Zelda 2, but I don't call it a bad game just because of those things. I think that a couple of features changed would easily make Zelda 2 one of the better Zelda games. You know? So...
just like how I don't really consider the first Legend of Zelda game to be a bad game. Well, the only problem I have with it is, yeah, it's the reason why people go after the Nintendo Power magazines, but...
Right.
But really, it's because of the first game that it gave players a sense of adventure, like, and exploration, which is the reason why Legend of Zelda was got its popularity in the first place.
Right.
So again, I can't really hate the game, even though I just think it has kind of a problem, especially if you want to play the game now and you don't want to use the internet.
Right. I will agree on that one. Well, alright. So we're way up here now. I think this is a good spot to end off this episode. In the next episode, we will continue to search for the other 3 pieces of this key, which are somewhere around here. I'm not sure where. Doesn't seem to be any over that way, but there are some. See, it keeps telling me there's one there, but that was
you probably have to go upward or something.
Maybe. There's one over on that side, so I'll have to go get it. I walked right off of that. But anyway, we'll do that in the next episode. So if you're enjoying, feel free to subscribe. feel free to leave a like. Check out our Patreon. Check out Mia's channel. And I think that is all I have to say. So, I will see everybody next time.
See ya!
Keep calm and punny on, everybody.